Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Mighty Movie Pod. My name is Ryan.
I'm Josh.
And we are back in your ear holes for another thrilling edition. Episode number 70, the 70th episode.
The 7-0.
The big 7-0.
Bicentennial. That's not what that is.
No, it's
That's
not.
not what that is at all.
It is not. How are you doing, Josh?
I'm all right.
I am also adequate.
I'm getting over a disease.
Yeah, I heard. Well, after your exile, you're bound to pick something up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's, I thought it was chlamydia. Turns out it's just a cold.
We've all been there. Am I right?
Stupid joke.
Anyway, we're back one short week later. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
I can't.
I can't either. We were on a good 1 a month run there for a bit.
Yeah, we make big promises, people.
Yeah.
So we're back. We have plenty to talk about, which is good.
Yeah.
You know what I want to talk about, Josh? Scheduled banter is over. I want to get straight. I want to get straight into it.
I really wish you'd stop calling it scheduled banter.
The beginning of the show is scheduled banter.
Scheduled banter. We will banter for 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes 2.
We have a very, very infrequent segment of the show because we don't do segments. So we have a very, very infrequent segment of the show that is
Except for scheduled banter.
Scheduled banter is always there.
To stock and trade.
Anyway, we rarely, infrequently, I should say, have a segment on the show that covers news, and I want to cover a little bit of news. One big one in particular. The Marvel machine has not stopped, Josh.
Oh, I thought it was the canceling of the Taika Waititi Akira.
No, nobody cares. I didn't even know it was happening until it wasn't happening.
There's one guy listening to us right now going, "What?
No! I was so looking forward to March 2021 when the live action Akira, which needs to totally be made, will be available for the masses."
I just keep thinking of that Happy Harry cartoon every time.
This rumor,
and the probs tomorrow. Sorry,
this rumor has been going on for so long, but this was like concrete, like release date. That's kind of a big deal.
I swear to God, I remember reading about it in high school when I was reading back in the day, in the good old days, Ryan, when we got Wizard magazine off the rack.
Yeah, they don't have racks anymore.
Right? They don't have Wizard magazine doesn't even exist anymore.
That was the joke. So anyway, no, the Marvel machine, Josh. Let me finish. This is scheduled banter is over. We're on to the news.
All right, we're at the news.
The
news.
The Marvel machine is not stopping, and we got a trailer for the newest theatrical release by Marvel Studios, Black Widow, which I think is just the name, right? Black Widow?
Sure.
I guess. So I woke up in the morning, saw it on my phone, started watching it, and then said, why the fuck am I watching this? And then I turned it off because I had stuff to do. So later you would text me and you were like, how pumped are you? And I thought that you were being facetious.
Yeah, you did. And I was kind of going for that. I was like, he's going to think I'm being a silly.
And I talked a little bit of shit because I'm like, yeah, dead character in the continuity. And it's got it's set after Civil War and my least favorite time in the MCU timeline.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, you're like, bro. But Taskmaster's in it.
Finally.
And I said, what?
Yeah, you got all excited.
So I went and I watched it, and Taskmaster, admittedly, and this is what everybody's saying.
Looks like a Halo tryhard.
Yeah, looks a little ridiculous, and not in the good way, not in the way you would expect.
No, not in a good, fun, not in a good, campy. He doesn't have the pirate boots.
They were overly conservative in taking a character design and trying to make it like real world tactical military.
Even when they did Crossbones, like you could believe that Crossbones would have some kind of body armor look like that because he still had the skull and crossbones.
Exactly. So they went a little too hard on that whole practical tactical gear situation.
Back on Crossbones real quick, you know what's funny is when they took his shirt off when they dug him out of the rubble in Winter Soldier, and like I I was really expecting something cheesy to be like he had the skull and crossbones, just this huge tattoo on his chest, and I was like, too far.
Too far.
Yeah.
So we show my boy, as the listeners know, he's my boy.
Yeah.
The
He
Taskmaster.
loves the Taskmaster.
I've been calling for Taskmaster ever since Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
actually, no, not Winter Soldier. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually.
yeah, but especially that movie, because I'm like, all right, you're bringing in some of his accomplices.
Yeah.
And he's
Crossbones
right,
in particular.
in particular, and I'm like, he's right for the picking, man.
Yeah.
His skill set, you could, it's not outrageous. I mean,
No.
in a world where you have the Hulk and fucking Scarlet Witch, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
I'll believe in one of the more down to earth Captain America type movies.
Yeah,
that you can
he's
have
got-
fucking
yeah.
Taskmaster.
Yeah, well, it's like, if I remember right, Bartok the Leaper is just good at jumping. He's just a tumbler. I don't remember a lot about Bartok the Leaper.
So, all right,
I think that's his name.
I start looking into it. Okay, so I watched the trailer. It looks fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Still not too interested, but also incredibly interested because Taskmaster. Okay,
Did you see that fan edit?
yes, and it
of
looks
him
very
where
good.
he's got the cool skull helmet and the hood and everything?
It looks more like the cartoon that he was in.
It does look a little bit more. But it still keeps that stupid power armor aesthetic that they're trying to go for with him.
Yeah. So I started looking more into it. Apparently, people have known Taskmaster was going to be in this movie for a while. I guess at Comic-Con they did panels and stuff, but we don't keep up with this new, like, we don't need to know all this bullshit.
There's
you know
just
what I mean?
it's just there's a whole bunch of news out there, and it's some of it ends up being completely fake, and some of it ends up just being hype bullshit, and a lot of it's just fan theory nonsense. But
Yeah.
I guess if they actually did officially announce the guy, like, damn, I wish we'd made. But all the better though, because
Yes.
like this was a total surprise to me as well as you.
Yeah, and it was awesome. I was pumped. So it's like, I don't keep up on the Comic-Con and like BlizzCon and all these cons that have happened recently.
Yeah.
I actually haven't been paying that much attention.
Yeah,
'Cause,
usually you're on BlizzCon. You usually watch the live stream of that.
usually, for whatever reason, I kind of didn't give a shit. But
I used to watch the Comic-Con stuff on G4, and I used to tune into like the PAX breakdowns and everything. Those
Yeah.
are cool too.
yeah. If
Not PAX,
I'm super
E3.
Yeah, if I'm super interested in certain shit, I'll let it happen. But when it comes to Comic-Con, it's just like, oh, they're going to go over. I don't know what they have shows coming out. They have a bunch of
Yeah.
fucking celebrities on
There's
stage.
so much that happens at Comic-Con, and none of it's comic book related.
Yeah, and I'm just like, whatever. These are all going to come out, and I'll watch them.
I think the only thing I do pay attention to is like the tested action figure reviews or any kind of cool.
Yeah,
like,
when a
little-
trailer happens, I'll fucking watch it. So anyway, apparently they announced that at the time, and Rachel Weisz was there, and they were like, "Hey, what character are you playing?" She's like, "Ooh, we're not saying right now." They're like, "Are you gonna be fucking Taskmaster?" And she's like, "Ooh, I can't say." So then this trailer comes out, and she's playing a character. They show her character in the trailer.
Yeah.
But there's no actor attached to Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Now, why would they go and do that? Odd,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Well, and they're good on the whole secret switcheroo kind of thing, because Jude Law was labeled as Marvel for the longest time on the Captain Marvel.
and there's
IMDb.
not even any of that going on. They're just like, we don't know. We're not saying who's playing.
No. It'd
Okay,
be cool if we never knew.
true. But the speculation was Rachel Weisz is going to be fucking Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Which, cool, whatever. I'm down with that. Don't give a shit.
Fine.
But then when I watched, because his backstory is like he's a guy. So, whatever. If he's a lady, whatever. As long as as long as he or she is Taskmaster at heart, I'm cool. But then I started thinking that this rumor is probably true, or this speculation, and I'm cool with that outside of one thing and one thing only. The fact that they showed Rachel Weisz's character and they're like a family. Her and David Harbour and Scarlett Johansson and whatever, they're part of some family, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And it shows them all sitting together and being
Team of crazy rushy.
and eating and having fun, whatever. And then I was like, you know what? If it's the old switcheroo where I was the Taskmaster the whole time, I realized something. everything that makes Taskmaster cool
Is just out
will
the
be
window.
ruined.
Is out the window because he doesn't have the eidetic memory or whatever it is.
It's going to be the reveal.
Yeah.
It's going to be the whole time. How does he know? Like, he knows exactly. He knows all of our moves, and I don't understand. He's one step ahead, and then you're going to find out it's her, and he doesn't.
No.
She doesn't have the superpower of having the photographic memory and can perfectly match. It's just like, oh, the big reveal, the old switcheroo. It was her the whole time, and she knows us so intimately, and that's why we thought. And if that's the case, it's going to be a bummer. Because if it was just a female actress playing Taskmaster, I don't give a shit. Like, whatever. But I want Taskmaster to be Taskmaster.
Yeah, don't mess with the essence of the character.
Yeah.
That's why I hated what they did with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, where I was just like, they're not mutants anymore, and Quicksilver's not nearly as cool as he is, and neither is Wanda.
And the Mandarin thing. Like, this would be more akin to the Mandarin thing, where they completely change the essence of the character.
Yeah, well, they did that with the other two too.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, that's a little more nitpicky, but
no, it's not. They were no longer mutants. They were no longer Magneto's kids. That's a big deal, dude.
Well, let's just go ahead and get those deals done to make that. They still had their power sets. You know what I mean?
Sort of.
If Taskmaster...
No, actually, Scarlet Witch does not have her power set. She has something totally different.
Fair enough. You're nitpicking.
I don't even know what she does. But she
yes, because she's not a mutant.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You are technically correct. But if they 100% turn this into a plot twist,
I'm 100%
instead
correct.
They're going to change a character's entire power set into a plot twist. That's completely different.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
And that's when I'll be pissed off. Hopefully that's not the case. If it turns out she is the actress playing Taskmaster, but Taskmaster's still Taskmaster, what the fuck ever. I don't care. But that's the rumor mill. And I normally don't get too deep into that shit, but I started theory crafting my ass off about that character.
Well, dude, you normally don't get too into that, but like you frame by framed this this trailer just to see if he had the shield, and he does in fact have the shield.
Yep.
Still don't know about the sword.
No, but they show her with a sword. And that's what also makes me think.
Well, and there was a freeze frame that you showed of one thing of him running at somebody or something, and it looked like he was holding a sword.
Him and Red Guardian were fighting.
Guardian.
Yeah. And the shield was in the ground because obviously they had some things had gone down, and he may have had a sword. Basically, I would just once they announced that like who her character was, I was like, yeah, it's probably somebody else. But
see, part
the
of
fact
me
that
is
they're not
thinking,
saying who it is, I'm like, it's a twist. It's going to be a twist.
Part of me is wondering if it's going to be like that, or if he doesn't have their fight sets, but he fights like all the Avengers, which is kind of what he did in the first place. Like he has a sword because a swordsman. Hawkeye, he has the bow. Cap, he has the shield. Things like that. So I'm wondering if it's going to be something more along those lines.
Yeah. I'm just afraid that you're going to think he has a power, like you think the Mandarin knows magic or whatever. And then it turns out.
Well, no, I feel like everybody heard Mandarin, so they were like, oh, magic. And then Mandarin didn't do any magic at all. And it was never hinted that he had magic. He was just a terrorist. And then he wasn't Mandarin at all. And then Guy Pearce was the Mandarin, and then neither of them were the Mandarin because the Mandarin was the Mandarin.
See.
And now the Ten Rings are coming back in the Shang-Chi movie.
Yeah. So basically, I'm excited that it's Taskmaster, but if they make Taskmaster not have his power set, if he doesn't have his power set, I'm gonna be pissed off.
Yeah, God,
because he doesn't, because then he won't look cool.
Oh, dude, you know what? A good example of this is in Wolverine Origins, where they brought in Gambit, and he wasn't Gambit, like at all. Like nothing he did was like Gambit. He had playing cards, didn't do anything with them.
Even if they, and even if they,
well, I mean, he did do stuff with them, but it wasn't like he was floating them and stuff. And that's not how he. That's not how he fucking works. He throws them like a normal person.
Yes. If they did this whole, it's revealed he's not, has some power.
No.
And it's Rachel Weisz, and she knows them, and that's why. but she looked cool as hell,
Yeah.
I would forgive it. But if he's gonna look lame and not have his power set, it's gonna be disappointing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like Daredevil, where he goes blind and just suddenly becomes a world-class martial artist and parkour guy. It's like, that's not what happened. Like he actually had to train to do that. He wasn't like, oh, I'm blind, I can hear stuff, I'm gonna slide down this pole.
My senses are crazy, I'm gonna go do parkour. Yeah. Yeah. See, and all you're doing is just hammering this terrible idea I had in my brain.
I know, because
when you're like, I have a bunch of other examples of where they could totally do that.
Yeah, where they could do it totally wrong.
That being said, take Taskmaster out of this movie, I look at it and go, all right.
Yeah.
It's like a Jason Bourne fucking thing, I guess.
Well,
Russians.
and like, Black Widow's only been a cool character in 2 movies, as far as I'm concerned. I liked her a bit in Civil War, but Black Panther is really the best character in that, and Bucky. Black Panther and Bucky are the best characters in that movie.
Yeah.
And then I loved her in Endgame. I thought
Same.
she was amazing in Endgame. And then Winter Soldier, I really, really liked her a lot in Winter Soldier. And I kind of was just like, yeah, she's just, oh, I'm the Black Widow. I wear leather and shoot pew-pews, and it's like, it's kind of lame. And then the Russo brothers came in and were like, no, we're going to give her a personality and she'll be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. There's potential there, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't only ride on Taskmaster. They could do something good with her.
I agree with you, though, where it seems like it's a little late in the game.
Yeah.
And part of me wonders, like, did they make this a while ago and just haven't released it?
Could be. But since it's theatrical, I don't think so.
It's not the first time they've done that, though, where they filmed a movie in like 1998 and then released it in like 2001.
Yeah, but that's just not really the Marvel Studios kind of thing.
No, it's definitely not their MO, but it seems like they were so cautious about releasing a movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're just wrapped up. Like they were all hands on deck to get in game, get through the Infinity Saga. That I'm sure that's probably more what it was. They probably planned this out. Maybe it was in pre-pro. Maybe it was written forever ago, and that's why it's set in a different continuity.
Yeah.
Then she ends up dying, and they're like, "Well, we're going through with this because this is more important."
Yeah.
Whatever. We pulled this with an Ant-Man 2, so fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. I am as kind of as I am about it. I'm much more interested in it than I was Captain Marvel.
Agreed. Yeah,
I wanted to see more with I was excited to see the Kree stuff, and we didn't really see anything with the Kree.
No, and not only that, they've earned this.
Mm-hmm.
The character has earned this.
Oh, for certain. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah.
Captain Marvel was just like it was.
I came out of nowhere and invented the entire Marvel universe.
Yeah, it was. It was the marketing plus the tone of the movie was 100%. I'm the best. I'm the.
It was the Mary Sue kind of
the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread. Yeah, she came in like a real Mary Sue and fucking what the base definition of that is. That shit has been overused forever.
Yeah, no. I'm referring to the actual.
Yes.
She's
no, I know.
I
know you were.
Yeah,
I was elaborating for the listeners.
Yeah. Well, everybody complaining about other characters being a Mary Sue and everything.
Exactly. And you're right. So it was off-putting if they had established Captain Marvel, this movie, if they had done the flashbacks of Captain Marvel in its own movie, and then the end of it, and then gave her another movie, and then put her in fucking
kind of like
Endgame.
What they kind of sort of did with Black Panther.
Yeah. If they took a Black Panther approach, but no, they were like, everybody's gonna love her because she's the best and she's a female, and it's like, well, fuck, Black Widow's been around this whole time. But whatever, guys, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's like we were hoping she would do something in Endgame. Because they kind of pumped her up being in it. She's really only in the beginning and the end. No, that was all the Nebula and
Nebula. Yes,
Nebula was fantastic.
Nebula and Gamora, and they've had their time in the fucking sun.
Nebula. And who was the other one that was? Hawkeye. Hawkeye finally got something, and Nebula they just made even better.
Nebula was almost the main character of Endgame.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah, like the whole second act is her show. Yeah, pretty much.
Yes. So yeah,
Standout story arc.
they did a lot of, and then it reminds me of Ghostbusters 2016 kind of, where they're like, and now the ladies' turn, and it's like
Yeah,
the ladies have been doing just fine, and now it's kind of insulting to the female characters you've already had that you're like, first all female Marvel Studios produced fucking lead, and it's like, well, this movie should have came out first. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
So
it should have, and I agree with you on that, dude. It's just, I don't know, man. I thought my favorite female character in the Marvel universe is probably Valkyrie.
Yeah,
I like Valkyrie a whole bunch. She has a great storyline.
agreed. Anyway, so
Yeah.
we'll wait for a full trailer. Maybe we'll get some more deets on Taskmaster. But if they keep that hush hush the whole time,
And Pepper.
it's Rachel Weisz. And which is fine as long as they don't do the thing I'm thinking they're gonna do.
Well, did you hear about the casting going on with the Batman movie? They were trying to get Jonah Hill for Penguin.
That'd been cool.
And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Oh,
Yeah.
he'd be great as the Penguin. And then they went with Colin Farrell.
Don't cast Colin Farrell in anything.
I don't mind Colin Farrell. He's done better the further away
What's
from
your favorite Colin Farrell movie?
In Bruges.
What's your favorite Colin Farrell movie from this decade?
In Bruges.
When did that come out?
2013?
Close. You just made the cutoff. I thought that was a 2000s movie.
I could be wrong. I don't have my phone on me, but no, that was not a 2000s movie. I swear to God. Dude, hang on, man. Can I look at the internet on this?
You absolutely can. Anyway, it's not. There's been movies that I have enjoyed him in as well, but you don't want to get fucking Bullseye or whatever the hell his name was to come in and. Ooh, to come in and stink up your Batman movie, but they have enough problems as it is. 2008. So anyway, not from this decade.
Okay, so not from the I actually kind of liked him in the Fantastic Beasts movie.
Oh, you're right.
I thought he was really cool, and then we found out he didn't exist.
You're actually right. He was a good part of that movie. Fair enough, my friend.
Yeah,
It's still an odd choice.
It's a very odd choice because I was like, wait a minute. So what Penguin are you going for here? Because Penguin has historically been short, fat guy.
Exactly.
And I mean, he's always been cool. He's the little mobster kind of dude. He's great.
Like if they're going for a younger Batman, like have the villains be a little bit younger, unless
some of them could be of an older age.
Yeah, unless you're going mobster or something like that. Sure, but I'm like a weird younger Penguin would
historically,
be fine.
Cobblepot's entire beef has been with Bruce Wayne because the Waynes were always of a higher class than the Cobblepots.
I don't know a lot about him,
so
this is your domain.
It's kind of weird that it's.
How do you feel about Zoe Kravitz?
Zoe Kravitz?
Yeah.
Depending on what she's in, she's really good. I liked her a lot in Mad Max. She was another character I liked in Fantastic Beasts.
Same.
I really liked her. I think she's cool. I don't fucking care that much about Catwoman. She's never been one of my more favorite characters in the series.
Agreed. You think she's gonna look to Halle Berry for inspiration?
People got more mad about Commissioner Gordon than they did about Catwoman, and I believe it's because of Halle Berry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's precedent there, I guess. If that, not saying either side, quote unquote, is right, but I understand why they're like, no, let's not get upset about that. Let's get upset about the new thing.
Yeah. Did you hear? People aren't even like you said. People were getting kind of in a kerfuffle about Taskmaster in the Black Widow movie.
It wasn't really
the big kerfuffle is David Harbour
and fat shaming.
Yeah, shaming, and I was like, we did it with Thor, and it was a good story arc. Like,
apparently they were mad then too.
Yeah, they were real mad then too, and I'm just like, yeah, but it was a good story. Like, there was a reason why the joke isn't that he is fat. The joke is that he was that guy, and now he's this guy, and you find out why he's this guy. And it's really sad.
And they make you laugh and then feel bad for laughing when you realize like he's in a bad spot.
Exactly.
And with this is a different tone. This is more like
He's
like,
past his prime.
Good for him. He's past his prime. And they're
Yeah.
like, you're a little fat. And he's just like, but I still got it.
And he's still out there kicking ass. Yeah, dude. And I'm just like, yeah. Well, and that was the thing with Thor, too. Because, like, at the end of Endgame, he totally turns into a complete badass with that dope-ass braided beard. He looks so Hessian. He's badass.
He is, yeah. That, there's a lot of those kind of minorities out there, vocal minorities, that'll pay a little bit of time to. This is not one of those cases.
No.
That's a very, very small minority.
It's a niche, yeah. But yeah, I heard that was the big dust up going on.
The Taskmaster thing, nobody was in a kerfuffle. It was more just speculation because everybody, because I wasn't there for all the when they announced it and they were talking about it at Comic-Con and stuff, and they weren't giving out character names.
That's true. We're coming to the late game.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Well, are you Taskmaster?" Because we know he's in it, and she's like, "I don't know," and I'm like, "Huh, okay." So, but I don't think anybody would be upset. Nobody cares about Taskmaster except for fucking me. So no, so like, and I'm not getting upset. So I feel like the people who are getting upset is about the look. The Taskmaster fans out there are mad about the look, and I don't disagree, but at the same time, I've been asking for his, and I'm actually pretty glad this isn't even like a. I mean, I'd love for him to show up in some of the Disney Plus stuff, but like, this is a theatrical release. He's getting the theatrical fucking treatment I wanted from him because he's an awesome fucking character.
I just hope they don't Crossbones him because I was really excited to see Crossbones.
Luckily he is the main villain of the story.
Is he the main villain? Okay.
Yeah, so I doubt he's gonna blow up in the first 20 minutes.
Well, doing nothing.
Yeah, and he's in costume as lame as the costume is, so it's not going to be like, well, technically, with Rumlow,
They'll just go back and do reshoots with a new helmet.
They always could, but they won't. They don't ever give into that shit. That's not Marvel's.
Not really.
That's not Marvel's thing.
Yeah. I heard that there was an original prop design though that was closer to Star-Lord's helmet from the Guardians comic. And they got rid of it because when they put it out there and showed it to a couple people and stuff, they were just like, he looks like Darth Vader. He looks too much like a Nazi. And I was like, Nazis didn't wear that helmet. But
yeah, it had a gas mask vibe, I'm guessing. People are just equating World War and gas masks, I feel like are more World War One.
It was just it is much more the entire look of the Guardians was based off of World War One troopers and stuff like that. And everybody was just like, oh, Judd Hopper's in a weird helmet, Nazis. And I'm like, God, guys.
A lot of people forget that World War One and World War Two are not the same thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully 1917 will change all that.
I'm really looking forward to that movie,
I'm so upset about the whole limited release
I know.
For the Oscars and then wide release come January bullshit.
I was
I'm
upset,
I want to see that movie now.
I know. I was just like, oh God, it's another movie I have to wait till I'm allowed to watch.
Yep. It needs to get its Best Picture nom first.
Yeah, exactly. And then us peasants, we can get into it.
I know, and I'm like following Edgar Wright on Twitter, and he's like, I saw it twice, and I was like, you dick!
Shut the fuck up!
God damn it!
Brag.
Yeah, fucking asshole. Makes awesome movies, dick. That's the news. You have anything else? We could talk about Ghostbusters. There's nothing to talk about, but we could.
Paul Rudd's in it.
They
got that Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah, they got Finn Wolfhard. Is it hard or heart? I don't know.
Flint Ironstein.
Flint Iron Beak. So, I don't.
Flint Stone Crotch.
I like Ghostbusters. I don't care about Ghostbusters. This looks like
I'm done, dude. I'm done. You know, like 2 was kind of disappointing, but I still tune in every now and then. But you know, I thought I was compelled by the idea of a third one when there was the talk of the original cast coming back and everything, and then. The trailer for 2016 one didn't really appeal to me. I thought they had Adam Sandler'd it, and I was just kind of like, this looks pretty crap. And then I eventually watched it, and I was like, doesn't deserve the hate, but didn't need to be made
because it was the same movie again. Yeah,
well, it was the dumbed down version of the original, and I was just kind of like,
didn't have the dry humor. It was more like you said,
wacky, goofy, slappy. Oh, I got slime in my vajayjay, you know, and it was
yeah.
And this one, I'm just like, it doesn't even look like it's a comedy.
No.
You know? And I'm like, all right. Like,
Wait,
being better looking than something that was bad is not better.
basically, I just disregard 2016. First of all, didn't see it. Second of all,
It obviously never happened.
yeah, it's
according to
over
this
with
movie,
now.
yeah.
They even kind of put a line in the trailer that reminds you it didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
There hasn't been a Ghostbuster since the 80s.
Yeah. Something like that. No one's seen a ghost in 25 years or something like that.
And you're like, okay, we get it, guys. When it comes to making making a third movie, like this is a sequel, this is a C-boot, I'm guessing. Ties in, you can bring in some of the old guys, whatever.
A rebequel.
They're looking at trends. I get it. It's the way Hollywood
well,
works.
yeah,
So
there's the Stranger Things.
They're looking at Stranger Things. They're looking at It. They're looking at a few things. And
Paul
I think
Rudd being Paul Rudd
and whatever. So they look at Force Awakens and Creed and things like that. They're looking at those.
Tron Legacy kind of
Tron
stuff.
Legacy, which don't look at that. It's a great movie, but in terms, if you're looking for success, don't look at that.
Yeah.
God, it pains me to say that.
Yeah, what a crime. It's a crime.
I want to make Tron 3 in the worst way. Me personally, I'm not even saying I want them to make it. I want to make it.
You've talked about this since I showed it to you.
If there was anything that they were like, "Hey, bro, you get to make a movie," it would be Tron 3. So that's insane for me to say with the franchises that I love. So,
well, what would you do? Make Back to the Future 4?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like you have to make a new Star Wars. No, thank you. I'll leave that to some asshole,
to some masochist. Yeah, some guy who loves punishment.
Exactly. So they're looking at that, and then in terms of the humor, I think they're like humor second. Go for nostalgia first.
Yeah.
Put that foot forward and show that we're acknowledging the first ones, and then whatever dry humor, if they're hopefully going for dry humor, which you would think they were.
He would have to, right? But who's writing it? I know Reitman's producing or directing. Directing.
Yeah. I think he wrote it as well, but I think there's probably two writers. I'd have to imagine there's probably like fucking 3 writers on it.
Yeah, there's like
have
5.
to imagine. One could hope in terms of not only that, like I feel like they could have had a little bit of a jauntier tone. Like I feel like throwing the theme in there I get it, makes your eyes roll a little bit. But right there at the end, when the Ecto is coming out, it's like play it.
Yeah, people were already rolling their eyes when he pulled out the ghost trap, and I was just like, that's a thing that exists within the world. That's not really.
No, it's like when we always talk about. When we're talking about Mandalorian, which I said we wouldn't talk about, but when we did talk about it, I'm referencing us talking about it.
Yeah,
we're like, no, that's the world. That's not fan service because they live in Star Wars.
Yeah,
so
there's a stormtrooper there because stormtroopers exist.
But there was not a lack of plot or character or story, so you could add more spaceships and ATS teams.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's fan service.
The Death Star didn't come out of orbit.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Just sit there for a second.
Or Darth Vader killing 30 extras in a hallway in a reshoot.
Or just a random lingering shot on 3PO and R2-D2.
Exactly. So I don't like I said, I just don't care. But in terms of being like, we're showing that this is a real serious movie and we care about Ghostbusters. They did that. But for me, I'm like, well, show me why I should care. Because it being Ghostbusters is not enough for me. Because guess what? I can go watch Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
A number of them.
Yeah.
Depending on how, sad I am.
You could watch the first movie. You could watch the second one. You could watch the cartoon. You could watch
the reboot if I really wanted to. Yeah. You know what I mean? Show me as a sequel why this should exist. Who are these characters?
Justify its existence.
Exactly. So they got to show me a lot more. I'll probably watch it.
It's Egon's kid or kids.
I think it's just his daughter.
So how old was Egon when he had kids? Finally.
Well, I don't know when this movie set.
And is Janine the mom?
Yeah, I don't know when this movie was set.
Oh yeah, because if I remember right, the sequel, Janine and
I've never seen Ghostbusters 2.
Rick Moranis' kid hooked up, if I remember right, at the end of that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never seen Ghostbusters 2. I've seen Ghostbusters.
It's been a long time since I saw 2. All the way through.
So yeah, whatever. I'll probably end up watching it, but they got to show me why I should care.
Mhm.
And trust me, this along with Wonder Woman, for me, I'm kind of like, ooh, guys.
I'm nervous about Wonder Woman.
This nostalgia thing needs to wear.
Yeah, and that's where I think that Wonder Woman might get a little hurt because like people are already starting to get over this 80s shit, dude. And it's like, it only blew up because Stranger Things was set in the 80s, but Stranger Things should have been set in the 80s. Like it was a time period. It wasn't for nostalgia.
They didn't.
They just did callbacks subtly. Yeah, and then the third season.
I was gonna say they didn't lean into it a lot until the third season, and unfortunately, I think Wonder Woman 2 was shot before the third season of Stranger Things.
Well, this movie hasn't it been postponed multiple times?
Yeah, it's been postponed a lot, but I think its original production schedule was still happened. So
yeah, I think it was during probably maybe even a bit somewhere between 2 and 3.
So you see them all in the 80s and you think like, oh yeah, Stranger Things, when honestly that's not really fair. And luckily there was only like 1 or 2 things in that trailer that made me go like, oh, they're playing up the 80s thing. The rest of it is just kind of like, it's a new era in Cold War kind of thing going on.
The thing that I like too is it's that bit where they're at the outdoor art museum. And it's got all the weird like pop art, going on and stuff. And he's looking at the trash can and stuff. And she's like, "This is a trash can. This is a trash can." Like I was just like, "Yeah, dude, I've seen an '80s movie. That's legit." Dude.
And you want to know the beauty of this, of what they're doing with this and bringing Steve back is why
you get the reverse
of what was going on in the first one, where she was the fish out of water and he was taking her through a place that he was familiar with. Now she's in the world, she's in the 80s, set in her ways, and he's there confused and she's taking him through it. And there's going to be a lot of humor between the two of them.
Yeah, I want to know why he's back, how he's back. I'm interested, and if it's some kind of terrible plot twist, because the last one was pretty good at doing that, And also Batman
versus Superman or
does that count anymore, dude?
Justice League, whatever. Whenever Bruce gives her the pick of the two of them, and she's like, "Thanks for bringing him back to me," and I was like,
"That was the first movie."
Looks like you guys already fucking. Oh, it was at the end. It was like a post credit thing.
Well, that was the beginning. She's walking into her job as the curator.
You're right.
And she gets the package, and then at the end of the movie, you find out what the package was.
Yeah. So apparently, so either that's going to be like, oh, I forgot about that, or I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah.
The good thing about DC is it seems like they don't care about continuity, and I'm on board because they're just like, no, we're making character movies again.
It's barely
they live in their own worlds. Fuck it.
They basically acknowledge the existence of Superman and Batman and Shazam. And Aquaman, they make a vague reference to him saving the world with the Justice League.
Exactly. And
they don't make a vague reference. They make a direct reference.
Well, especially because Amber Heard was actually in that movie. But
yeah, but then in this movie, he acts like he doesn't know who the hell she is.
True. Whatever. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because now they're just focusing on making it's almost like they live in their own world.
Yeah, it looks like they're just doing their one-offs. They all know they exist in the same world, but I don't think
there's no Justice League. They're like, that's a dumb idea.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see another.
And then they show the box office numbers and the slide whistle. Again, I talk about it all the time. We saw that opening weekend. And we were in an empty theater for Justice League. Empty. Opening weekend. Holiday weekend.
No shit, dude. Nobody was like, we thought we were going to be the only people in the theater.
We were halfway through all the previews.
Dude, we were the majority of the way through the previews. And then because titles, people were still filing in, dude. And it was only like 1 or 2 other people.
Yeah, there was like 2 other groups. We thought we were going to be the only ones. And we almost
Yeah,
were.
it's kind of sad because like they burned everybody out with their overbearing dark mood on everything, and everybody was kind of like, "Mm." And they were rushing to get to that Justice League movie, and they didn't even wait to establish half the cast of the movie. You know,
Remember Cyborg?
no,
What a great character.
yeah, what
His dad was football or
his
something.
dad, he was a football.
Dad was
player.
a football. Wait, was
his dad
wait.
was a football? He's played by Miles Dyson from Terminator 2: Judgment Day. He's also the smartest man in the world on the show Eureka, which was a show on Sci-Fi Channel. I don't think you'd know what it is.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I didn't think so. They canceled that. I think they canceled it, or it actually came to its end. It was during that time where Sci-Fi Channel like tried sci-fi again for a while, and they were just like, nope, we're not getting the fan response we want, so let's just cut all our sci-fi programming.
Yeah.
Most of it was kind of crap.
Yeah, that's
the
problem.
standouts were Warehouse 13 and Eureka during the time. Your Warehouse 13 was my favorite.
People want sci-fi. There's an audience there, but I don't think the thing is. I think high budget sci-fi does well, and I think low budget sci-fi is just never going to have a very large audience. They need to make a Shudder for sci-fi.
If they did, I would love it. Put like the old stuff on there. Put like the Space 1999, Space Above and Beyond would be cool. God, there's so many old shows that I would love to. Quantum Leap, of course.
Yeah.
God, I'm thinking of all the old shows. The Invisible Man from like early Sci-Fi Channel days. I loved that show. Stuff they have Star Trek. Farscape would be cool to see on there. They could probably run all the Stargate shows. I hated all of them except for Atlantis. Like I got really hooked on Stargate Atlantis, and it was pretty crap. It was like their time. It was like their version of Deep Space Nine.
Ooh.
And it was not good. Those early Jason Momoa days,
Yeah.
He played a character named Ronan, and he was a barbarian.
Ronan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
What a badass.
And then he played Conan the Barbarian, and I think that he and the director of that film have a lot to answer for.
They will pay for their crimes against humanity.
Indeed. But I don't understand major networks' aversion to sci-fi.
Me either.
Why we don't see it enough. They canceled
Especially the Sci-Fi Channel.
Exactly, where that's supposed to live. Like they changed the logo and all
It's
kinds
sci-fi now.
Yeah, it's sci-fi.
Yeah. They need to bring back what was Tripping the Riff?
Oh my god. Oh my god. What was the other one that was on there? Lex. That was pretty much just like a soft core sci-fi porn.
Oh god.
That show was terrible.
The market has changed, Josh. The market has changed, but they canceled The Expanse, correct? But it's coming to Amazon.
Its new season just got announced. So, I don't enjoy the show because it's weird. I struggle with the books. I like the books. I just hate the main fucking character. Holden is a nincompoop.
Yeah. Holden D.
And everybody's like,
It's
Holden. Nuts. Oh, Jesus. Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm dumb. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay. What was...
His middle name is Daniel.
I'm trying to remember what movie that is. Oh, it's Open Range with Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall. And the sheriff in town is like siding against Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall's characters because they're free range cowboys, and the rich baron hates them because he's eating their fucking grass or some shit like that. It's a good movie. I'm making it sound stupid. It's a great movie. And the sheriff is a piece of shit, and so he's siding against them and gonna kill them and their little kid friend, played by the guy from Rogue One, the Mexican kid. Gabrielle.
No. Guy, make an accent.
Oh, Jesus.
Fuck.
Anyway.
His name.
Yeah, he's siding against them, and somebody's like, "You're a coward." And he goes, "I know." It's just like kind of shrugs. That reference went over like a lead balloon.
Josh.
Ryan.
The news segment is over. And the reason it's over is because I need to get in to the movies we've been watching.
Okay.
Because I've seen a couple.
You've seen more than me lately.
I'm doing that late 2019 catch up where we'll probably have an episode where we go over more, but I haven't watched anything important, so I'll squeeze them in here. But when we get close to our top 5, we start frantically watching movies. It's kind of our whole situation.
I know, it kind of sucks. I feel like we just kind of backload everything.
It's not our fault. Like we were talking about, they early release shit and then they fucking put it out wide release later, and then technically we want to watch it before we do our end of the year, and then also we skipped like Joker's it's doubtful it will be on any of our list, good or bad, best or worst. I doubt it doesn't
we
matter.
just didn't have a strong enough desire to watch it.
But like things like Dr. Sleep and things like that, then it's like they get kind of released out on video closer towards the end of the year, or they're, you know, they have a long run and then we can go see them. But like things like Jojo Rabbit are coming out. Love that Taika Waititi. So it sucks.
That's a bit of a hot button movie.
Yeah, it sucks, but I also enjoy, like, you know, I think a couple years ago we went and saw like 3 movies one day. Like,
yeah, you and I spent
New Year's
like
Eve or whatever.
Day. Yeah, you and I went and watched like 3 movies.
So it's fun, but again, yeah, you're right, and it sucks, but it's not completely our fault. Let me tell you about one I watched. Let's just put it this way.
Okay. I've got some stuff that I watched, but it's not relevant and it's all old.
This is not that relevant, and that's why I want to talk about it in this instead of our, like, where we cram it all into our episode before the top 5 episode.
Yeah.
So, Lion King. Let me tell you.
You told me a bit.
I did.
The other day. Yeah.
Because I couldn't keep it in. I couldn't keep it to myself.
Yeah.
I watched Aladdin. I don't know if I ever talked about it on the podcast. I don't think I did.
You said I watched Aladdin, and that was pretty much it.
I watched Aladdin. I had heard it was bad, and I had figured it was bad. I watched it, and it was a worse version of Aladdin, but still had a lot of that Aladdin charm.
Like, if you had never seen Aladdin, you might have enjoyed this.
Yeah, exactly. And I enjoyed it enough. It was fine. It was still good to look at. The performances, especially the guy who played Aladdin, he was fine.
Yeah.
I liked his performance. It was fine. That's a weird thing to say. So Will Smith played Hitch.
Yeah.
So at least he wasn't trying to do Robin Williams. That's a positive.
Yeah, but like, it's from the trailers. I knew. I was just like, so Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Hitch.
Yeah. He was literally just Hitch, though.
Yeah.
That was his whole thing, was I'm going to get you and Jasmine together, and all the other stuff that, like, the genie was, you know, you talk to him. No, didn't happen. So whatever. It was fine. I enjoyed it. It was good.
How was Jafar? Because Jafar is one of my more liked Disney villains.
Flat, unfortunately.
That sucks because he chews scenery in the cartoon
once. Yeah, he hammed it up once.
He's so deliciously evil.
Maybe one time he went for it, like, once.
Yeah.
And that'll lead me very neatly into Lion King. So with Aladdin, it was fine, good to look at. Didn't hate it, and was just like, yeah, it's a worse version. I think I talked about Beauty and the Beast, where I'm like, yeah, I like Beauty and the Beast, and this is a slightly worse version. Fine. Now, Lion King. I put off watching it because I was like, hey, Lion King's cool. Unlike Aladdin.
Well, real quick, which one was your favorite that you loved as a kid?
There was 2, Aladdin and Lion King.
Okay, I couldn't remember because if because I thought you had one, and I thought it was Aladdin or Lion King.
It's Aladdin. Okay. So I don't I was more of a Nickelodeon kid, as it were. Never watched a lot of Disney movies. I was more into the weirder stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Ren and Stimpy, Rocco.
Yeah. So it wasn't really a big Disney kid. Obviously, I remember watching Cinderella and Snow White and the classics.
But they didn't stick.
There's not an affinity there outside of Lion King and Aladdin. Aladdin especially. I watched even the shitty straight to VHS sequels and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So
I remember the third one being pretty good.
Yeah, I don't remember them, but I remember watching them.
Yeah.
So I figured it'll probably be a worse version. But the difference is when you have human actors and animated humans, you can get pretty close to emoting and showing character. When you have an animated lion who doesn't have to move or have facial expressions of a lion.
Yeah, some kind of emotional expression. Yeah.
Yeah. Now things are getting weird, because if you're going to make them photorealistic lions, how do you make them look sad or happy or have fun or differentiate characters from other characters?
Well, I was going to say they did a really good job in Jungle Book. Shere Khan looked evil as shit. Bagheera looked wise and kind of tired and everything. And
yes.
Baloo looked amazing. I thought Baloo was fantastic.
They absolutely pulled it off in Jungle Book, but that's because they shot it in real locations that were interesting to look at, and they put a human usually next to every character, and they went a little more over the top. You knew who was speaking.
It breaks that Uncanny Valley kind of thing?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't even Uncanny Valley. The movie's fucking bad. It's seriously, they took Lion King and they stripped all character, charm, and anything interesting to look at out of it. When the
Lion King was a triumph.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful film.
When the lion cubs are walking around, you are just looking at two lion cubs and hearing in stereo two voices. And I couldn't keep, like, they look slightly different, but I don't like when they're wrestling, the whole Pinya thing.
Yeah.
They, and it was like an exaggerated pin, and you get the look up and the smile and the smirk. There's none of that. There's just two little baby cubs fighting, and then they kind of were down on the ground, and she's like, Pinya. And you're like, okay. And then I started thinking, I'm like, when they're adults, we're not going to get the exaggerated shot for shot thing again.
Well, yeah, because they do that really cool, like, because Simba's kind of going for it. Like, he's going to kill this fucking lion.
It's just bad. They took all character out of it. There's no facial expression. It's funny. I remember one shot stuck in my brain, and it was like, James Earl Jones, so good. Again, he was the only one going for it. I hear him in others.
Who was Scar?
The guy from Serenity, the bad guy.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And Scar sucked. So everybody sucked.
That sucks because Scar is my second favorite Disney film, a villain.
He's good.
Yeah,
it's fine. I liked his attitude in the very beginning, but after that, it's just boring.
So he's not Jeremy Irons, because Jeremy Irons is fantastic.
It's a gray rock, and there's a fire, and then there's no dramatic thing to there because they're just like, they're lions doing this at each other. Yeah. It looked like I'm watching a nature documentary. This is fucking boring, and I don't get any facial expressions because they're fucking
So they didn't
lions.
even shoot it dynamically or anything. So the choreography is bad.
No, because they're going for realistic. And they're not going...
Yeah, but you can film something realistic and still make it interesting.
You could. They could do dramatic camera angles, but it's still a dramatic camera angle of an emotionless lion. A lot of...
That's true. No. See, because I keep thinking about Shere Khan going after Mowgli, because that's the only frame of reference I have for this kind of thing. And he looks like he wants to kill him.
Exaggerated facial expressions. They didn't go for that in this one.
Why not?
I don't know. I have no idea. Because you're right. Jungle Book, they hammed it up.
Yeah. Ham it up.
And it looked fine. But no, in this one, they're like, no, that's not what we're doing.
Well, because they kept advertising it as the live
They kept saying it was live action. And then it got nominated for Best Animated, which I thought was very funny.
That's hilarious.
So... yeah, they wanted to keep this ruse that it was live action, which some of the landscapes may have been. There was a few shots, most of them in silhouette, that I really thought were good, which is kind of like ridiculous.
So like that whole age progression shot of them walking across the log, that's in there. Yeah.
Yes, that one was fine.
That's a good shot.
So Zazu, John Oliver, funny. It's John Oliver. I like him.
Yeah.
Billy Eichner and
which one is Billy Eichner?
He's it's kind of
Billy on the Street.
No, is that Billy? Yes, Billy on the Street.
Okay, yeah. Right.
Billy on the Street and and Seth Rogen, they did it. They understood. And not only that, they changed it
Seth
a little.
Rogen's a good pick for Pumbaa.
Yeah, and they changed their dialogue a little bit, and they kind of changed their dynamic. They were kind of more of the, like, we don't care about anything type, instead of like, it's fun,
Abbott and
it's fun,
Costello,
we don't
yeah.
worry here. It was more like we're kind of nihilists.
Slacker.
Somewhat. And they kind of didn't really care about Simba, and then it was weird when they did. So
they just suddenly do.
They just suddenly do, because that's what happened in the original. So they changed them a little bit. It's almost shot for shot and plot point for plot point exactly the same.
Well, I know that there was a big dust up because they had just taken all the storyboards from the original film and
didn't
not
credit them.
the original artist.
That makes complete sense, because yes, it is almost exactly the same. So that's. But then you strip all the character out, and you strip all the fun things to look at, because you're going like a lot of it is like.
So Rafiki sucked?
Yeah. Oh, the worst.
Because Rafiki was awesome.
No, they didn't exaggerate. They went. He looks different because a real baboon doesn't look like that.
No.
And he was more like less goofy and more mystic, and it was.
They went. Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, I don't know, Master Roshi. You wouldn't know who Master Roshi is.
So, and like I said, you just hear voices happening, but they're doing such subtle movements of the lion's mouths that you're like, who's talking?
Oh, God, that's like those old movies back in the day when they would try to make the dogs look like they were talking.
Yeah.
Like late 80s, early 90s. This is bad.
James,
or just kinda lip twitches.
It's bad.
That sucks.
It's like not fun to look at. It's fucking nobody's going for the songs, like, because I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, you get Childish Gambino and fucking Beyonce to sing fucking whatever.
Beyonce always goes for it.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, and
to an almost annoying degree.
And that song, fine, but also the charm.
Is it the same songs?
Yes.
Okay.
The charm, yeah, all the same fucking songs.
Jesus.
The charm, it's the same movie but bad, but bad. It's not like it's the same movie but maybe a little different, maybe a little worse. It's the same exact movie if it were bad. Same songs, same dialogue, same scenes, same everything.
See, and that's why
no character, no good performances outside of James Earl Jones, and a few with Pumbaa and Timon.
Yeah.
And then it's over. And it was boring.
Dude. See, and that's why my favorites to this day have been Jungle Book, Pete's Dragon, and the Cinderella movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're the same stories, but they're doing their own thing. They're not just reinventing the wheel. They're just making their own movie with the same title. I those are my favorites.
Yeah, this was like their actual lions, where instead it was like lions were just the vessel for a fun thing to animate for the story. Mm-hmm. This was like,
Hamlet.
No, they're lions.
Okay.
I don't... Dude, it made me angry.
He's so furious.
Because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe... After watching Jungle Book,
yeah,
I was like, yeah, it'll be a slightly...
Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it'll be slightly different animation style. I'd prefer the original. But then I was like, wait, no, they actually are trying to make me think that this is real. I know it's not real, guys. Why are we doing this?
Lions don't talk in real life.
Yeah, lions don't talk. And if they did, they would have to move their mouths. Fuck. It was bad.
Jesus.
Most of the people involved should be embarrassed. And they put in a lot of work, and that's what's so embarrassing.
Yeah, that's what's sad, dude. That's what's sad.
No, because the laborers and the people who put in tons of work
and all that.
Sure, yes, a triumph, especially because I heard they built a lot of this out in VR and were doing camera shots like
that's kind of cool,
dynamically, and then they were rendering it in higher quality, and it was crazy.
That augmented reality kind of thing. And
everything. And that's how they were planning stuff out and doing train details, and they were scanning in the storyboards that they fucking stole. And whatever. But
that's some good innovation though. Like actually trying to render in the real world as best you can your environments and stuff.
Yeah, so
that's pretty, because I feel like you can all those ones that get like best cinematography and stuff, and it's an animated movie, and I'm like, it's not fucking like everybody praises the one shot from Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah.
and it's just like, yeah, but it's
not real,
computer.
though.
It's not real. But if they're trying to do like actually embodying the space, I feel like you're actually there almost, and you can really like no, we'll come in from here, and it's like actually being there instead of just creating one scene in a 3-dimensional.
There actually is more room for direction there.
That's actually really, really cool,
which
and
is
that's
interesting.
unfortunate.
The when the Academy does its
I would like to see a behind the scenes.
Yeah, when the Academy does its science, like technology and sciences awards thing, they're probably going to do well. But
yeah,
some of the performances and some of the direction and just I don't know how it made it through different stages of production. Maybe because it was so damn expensive, they just went for it, and they knew people were going to see it anyway.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That's right there. It's brand recognition.
I don't know.
It's Disney. It's Lion King. People are going to see no matter what. So we'll go ahead and just kind of keep it this way, and people will go for it.
This is going to sound outrageously retarded. Sorry, I still use that word. So, but if I were to sit down with, if I were to sit
supposed
down,
to say autistic.
I know. If I were to sit down with Jon Favreau and be like, honest to goodness, tell me for real that you sat and watched the final cut of this and were like, this is quality shit.
And he'd be like, no, I was too busy making Chef.
I was like, or are you a fucking company man and just did this?
Yeah.
Like, I really want to know.
The whole reason why you left after Iron Man 2 because they wanted you to be a company man.
Yeah. Like, tell me this is like, you're like, God, this is artistry here. This is my work. Come on, dude.
Yeah, you're better than this, man. Well, and like I told you, like, it's not the first movie he's made that's been total shit, dude. Like Cowboys and Aliens, Zarathustra. There's another one I'm forgetting. Shit, we were talking about it the other day.
Daredevil.
Yeah, God. Yeah, we were just talking about Daredevil. Yeah. God.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Sorry,
Donald Glover, I'm like, I put some of it on him, but not really, because you know what? They're in a booth and they're like, look at the scene. And he's like, it's a fucking lion. You know what I mean? They show him the animation and like you see the big smiling lion and you're like, I get his deal.
Yeah, look at him. He's got the little floppy hair. Oh, he's a rogue.
James Earl Jones, though, fucking A, man.
James Earl Jones just brings it all the time.
And like I heard him in, I want to say Rogue One, but they fuck with his voice in that, where he sounded like he was 90 years old. In this one, I'm like, did they use some of the original fucking voice work for this? But they didn't.
Well, in Rebels, when he showed up in Rebels, he was fucking bringing it as Vader again, and he was still old man James Earl Jones. And it was fucking beautiful.
And dude, I was just like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But overall, I was like, oh, this is a boring, stupid fucking movie, and I'm mad that this exists. And I don't know who this is for. It's to make money. But why did they go through... Dude, I could start over again, but no. Don't watch it. Honestly, a lot of times I'll go like, it's bad. You should check it out.
Yeah.
It's not worth your time. I swear to you, I sound like I hate being that guy. I hate being you. But don't, it's not worth watching. There's nothing there.
There's destiny to
nothing there. If you want to hear Donald Glover and Beyonce sing the song, go to the soundtrack. There you go. That's the only thing I could see anybody being interested in. Seth Rogen was good, but I don't know. Look up clips on YouTube. He's in the movie for fucking 12 minutes, maybe.
He's so bad.
It was bad. I couldn't believe bad.
You left in a rage. Kicked over a trash can. I'll make a scene.
I should just leave. So, in terms of new movies, I think that may have been the only one that I watched.
The newest one that you watched.
Yeah. And boy was I not ready for it. It's a strong contender for number one. Spoiler alert! When it comes to fucking our top 5 of the year, it's a strong contender. Luckily, Hellboy and a lot of other things are out there, but
Jesus Christ. I
think our top 5 worst is going to be more entertaining this year than our top 5 best.
Yeah, I think our top 5 best is going to be pretty predictable.
Yeah. Unless we get some ringers in here near the end of the year.
I know, right?
Yeah, I think top 5 worst is going to be because I'll have to go back and listen, but I was like, did we ever decide if we're going worst or most disappointing, or we were just blending the two?
I think we did like near misses.
Yeah, like you explain why.
Yeah,
whether it's out of disappointment or out of sheer terribleness.
Yeah. Was
you
it that
decide.
bad? Yeah.
Because it could be like an okay movie, but if it was super disappointing to you, go ahead and put it on there.
I know one of them that I had was what ended up being a movie that I actually like a lot. It's King Arthur and the Legend of Excalibur. I watched that movie a lot. You turned
the.
It's not very good, but it's kind of like my Warcraft. You know, like you were just like, it's not very good, and I love it. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of how I feel about that movie now. Where I'm just like, dude, this movie's pretty dope.
And and we don't redo them, but you have a change of heart after a while.
It's true
on certain stuff, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Evan Almighty. That's not Evan Almighty. That's Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, whatever.
Wait, right? I don't know.
Yeah, because he does the mustache thing because he's trying to be Walter Cronkite. He's like, I thought that's the way the cookie crumbles. Like,
what have you watched, Josh?
I watched a documentary. Watched a couple of them. The one I was going to bring up was there's a documentary on Amazon Prime right now called Chris Claremont's X-Men.
Okay.
And it is all about the definitive run that saved and made the X-Men that everybody knows and loves. What I did not know was that when the X-Men first began back in the day, when it was First Class, it was Cyclops, Jean Grey, Angel, Xavier, Iceman, and Beast. This is a failed comic. It was not selling, and they were going to cancel it. And then Chris Claremont, he wanted to write for TV. He wanted to write, do anything. He wanted to write for, I think, Mad Magazine. And
like you do.
And they didn't pick him up, but they recommended him to their friend in Marvel, and he started writing for Marvel. He was doing, one-offs and stuff like that. And then he ended up, they pitched, he was, who wants X-Men, because they were just like, fuck it. We're just, whoever. And he said he'd take it. And he reinvented the entire series to become what we know now. And it's all this very interesting depiction, story of a man creating his own monster. And it was how, with the rise of the popularity of X-Men, it spiraled out of control. And it is very much why it lends to my argument where I'm just like, we don't need the X-Men in the MCU. They're their own universe. Their entire, and it was. He was insular. He had the people that he liked working with that got what his vision was, and he wanted to work with only them. And it was he stretched himself too thin because he was spread across like X Factor, X-Men, New Mutants, and I think he was writing Excalibur.
Like if he wasn't writing it, he was overseeing it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Wheezy was writing X Factor for a while there because like they introduced it and they had another writer on it and it was fucking awful. And then they brought in Louise, and she started writing it with Chris. And it became the great book that it was. And it's and then you get to the point where you also watch the degradation of Marvel through it, where it becomes more and more corporate and less about these creative, wacky ideas and stuff. Like how Legion was such an interesting character because you could do all these crazy stories that delved deep into the psychology and stuff like that, because Legion was a psychic with like multiple personality disorder because of like his psychic abilities were so crazy and everything. And it was this awesome character in the New Mutants, and they did these weird wacky stuff and like horror stories going on in New Mutants, like the Ghost Bear saga, which is loosely what the movie was supposed to be based on. They went more straight up horror than New Mutants did, but I was still interested in it. But it was this great story. It was awesome. Just hearing about this 15-year legacy, longest run under one author. And it's just the closer you get to his time of leaving, it's like you get why he left, because they're just like, they wanted, numbers. They bring in Rob Liefeld, who I have no respect for as an artist or a man, and his whole segment in the documentary is him just breaking down like, oh yeah, and then I joined the book and we were doing like 50,000. 40,000, like we were the numbers were really getting up there. And then like, she wouldn't listen to what I wanted. So I just start drawing the panels the way I wanted, and it was just like, what the fuck, you giant piece of shit. And he's like, yeah. And the sales figures were, like 100,000, 200,000. And I'm like, he has no creative input on like why he wanted to do the book, why he wanted to work on X-Force, why he was there in the first place, other than like how great his sales fucking figures were. And it was just disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. And you're getting older, Chris, because like when he left the book and left Marvel, he was very angry, very bitter. They had stolen his baby and made a product out of it. And it's like, it kind of sucked, man. And but like older Chris, he was just like, maybe it was a mistake, He was just like, they had their vision. I had my vision. We didn't meet in the middle. And it was kind of cool to see, because like for so long there's been like this contention, like Claremont's genius. Claremont was an egotistical prick, and it was kind of cool to see from the man himself, like, express a bit of regret leaving. Probably not the best idea I ever had. Who can say though? It was just a really cool.
Things change. Maybe I should have changed, but
yeah.
But then at the same time, I was a man of conviction back then.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Like, and it was just
can't change anything.
Really cool, because you got a history of Marvel in there, and it was an interesting time, dude. They talk about like what the studio was like, what it was starting to be like, what it is now, and it's kind of like, it's an interesting story, because you get a good history of Marvel Comics and the X-Men as well. It was awesome. I really liked it.
I'm gonna stop at a comic book shop today, Josh.
Yeah,
but it was the one that I hate, so I didn't.
Oh,
yeah,
that one over in that town.
The one over there in the greater Southern California area. That's now in a smaller one,
much smaller location.
And sold me the one that sold me a comic that somebody had pulled off the digital code and then glued it back on.
Yeah.
Which bugs me, even though I have the physical versions, that now in my app I'm missing a copy.
Still, yeah.
Because that Rise of Kylo Ren comic just started from Marvel, and I said, you know what? I like that Kylo Ren, and I like them Star Wars comics they make.
Well,
but I didn't, because I'm like, I can order it online or just get it digitally, because what the fuck.
Well, speaking of the X-Men, Jonathan Hickman, who is a writer that I have a love-hate relationship with, he started writing X-Men, and it's
did they start from did they make a number one, or?
Oh yeah, no, okay. They started over again. It's he's gonna change the face of the X-Men, because they're trying to fix it, and especially now that they own it again, they're gonna try to make the X-Men good again, because they were pretty much sabotaging the X-Men, because they were like, no, fuck them, dude. Fox doesn't want to give us their stuff, then they can suck a dick, and it was terrible.
Yeah, it's weird when you're a multimedia company that used to be a comic company, and you're holding on, but you know what your brands are worth across the mediums that you put out product, and it's like, oh boy. So as dumb as monopolies are, it's like, well, at least now that they own it, in
maybe we'll see some quality return.
We'll put some comics in there. Yeah. And it's like, oh God, what a boring dystopia we live in.
Yeah, right. And it's like, I'm reading it, and it reads like a Hickman comic where nothing makes sense at the beginning, but if you hang in there for like 12 issues, it will come to a mediocre end. And you're like, oh, well, at least the mystery's solved. Because, I mean, when he did, and this is the thing, like, he did Fantastic Four, and it was the best run of the series in a very, very long time. His Fantastic Four run was fantastic. Unintentional. but it was good. You know, it was really fucking good.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
loved what he was doing with it. And then it ended, you know, and I was like, all right, well, that was cool, man. Good run. Good job, man. You made the 4 excellent. It was a great time, too, because I'm not saying fantastic again.
I'm like, come on.
No,
the other
no.
one was so dumb and unintentional, and you had the perfect, like, you made the 4 fantastic again.
Fantastic.
Come on. Pull a
Yeah,
Trump, bro.
All right. Yeah.
He made 4 fantastic again.
He made the 4 fantastic. No, and it was a great time because Ed Brubaker was making Cap excellent. It was during the Winter Soldier run was during that time, and that's Brubaker's run is fantastic. You had Matt Fraction and Brubaker over on Iron Fist, which was one of my favorite comics of all time. So yeah, it was just a good time for comics. Unfortunately, every Hickman story he's written for Marvel since then has been the Fantastic Four storyline, where it starts off with a weird mystery, and then he stretches for time in the middle, and then by the end of it, it's like, well, you could have wrapped this up like 5 issues ago, but you wanted to make it last for forever, for you know, to get those numbers up, you know, and it's just like, come on, man. So I read it. It was good, and that's the thing is, it's like I don't want to like Hickman because he stretches things so long, but I'm just like, wow, this is actually pretty interesting. Like, what the fuck are they? Like, they're growing mutants or something. They've decided to create their own nation on Krakoa, the living island. And Magneto's like an ambassador, and you get this vibe that he's not really like a good dude or anything. And I mean, I'm reading this after the fact. It's already ended.
I was going to say, oh, okay. I was going to say, when did they start this run? So it's probably trade.
It's in trade now. It just went to trade right now.
Okay.
And I'm just like, all right, this is pretty good. But like, do I really want to get into this again? Or do I just want to keep doing what I've been doing and just collecting the issues that I loved when I was younger?
Yeah. I mean, both work.
Yeah. I don't know, man. So that's what I've been doing.
I gotcha. No,
But anyway, yeah, no. I really, really recommend Chris Claremont's X-Men documentary. It's very, very, very good.
Sounds cool.
Also watched one about the history of not heavy metal, 2000 AD comics.
Oh, okay.
2000 AD comics, which is really, really good. I really, really loved that documentary. It was very good.
Hang on a second. You've been talking this whole time, and I was listening, mostly about X-Men. But you know what I realized halfway through is you have a Blade Runner shirt on.
Oh, did you finally realize my shirt?
You have a Blade Runner 2049 shirt on,
yeah,
to be more specific.
Yeah, dude.
And I just realized right now, for whatever reason, I looked at it briefly earlier and I saw off whatever, and I was like, oh, it's like a Vans shirt or something, which I should have never thought you were wearing.
No,
I thought it was like off the wall or whatever.
Vans is your thing.
Like off the wall, and then all of a sudden I was looking at it, I was like, this is a Tardy logo, and I was like, oh, it says Joy over there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, he's wearing a Blade Runner shirt. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, it's based off of the ad that he sees when he's walking back into town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a rad shirt. I loved the design.
Yeah,
really cool shirt.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, 2000 AD.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it was just a cool documentary about 2000 AD and how it was a bunch of writers that hated how dumb and bland and boring British comics were, and it was kind of a product of the time in British, because like it was in the 70s when everything sucked in England, like really bad, and you know, like the rise of punk and everything, you know, all that stuff, and it was around about that time, and they started just churning out like Judge Dredd, and it was they talked a lot about Dredd, and I like what they talked about with Dredd because it's true, because it's like, it's such a punk rock comic, but you're rooting for everything that punk stands against, because like he is the right, the alt-right, you know, psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
And you root for him every single time because it's that tongue-in-cheek, you know, the RoboCop type of humor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, RoboCop is a ripoff.
Yes.
I say ripoff, but it's so good on its own that it's like, I can't. It's more of like inspired by.
It's
inspired. Exactly.
Something can be inspired.
But yeah, the documentary is great, and it's crazy because I had no idea how much DC's Vertigo label owed to the 2000 AD creators. Like, Neil Gaiman, Alan Moore, Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
All these guys worked for 2000 AD and stuff
Wow.
like, and they came over and they started the American version, quote unquote. And, you know, we got Sandman, we got Swamp Thing, we got Animal Man, these great books, Transmetropolitan, all that stuff. They were all 2000 AD writers. And it was a good time for comics, dude.
Those were all names I even know. So yeah. Shit, son.
Yeah, it was just Vertigo was a great label. Vertigo was an awesome label. Those were the comics that, like, when I was a young lad, I would see on the shelf and pick it up, and I'd see a Boobus or a heroin needle and be like, I'm not ready for these.
I'm not ready to step
these.
up.
Yeah, I can't do this. I want to watch Batman karate fight a clown man.
At least he had your priorities
No,
straight.
yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh man, Superman has to punch a giant gorilla in the face. I have to be there. I don't got time for AIDS struggles.
You know what? I'll come back to this.
Yeah, I'll get back on this. Yeah.
You know, the war on drugs isn't going anywhere, but you know, this giant gorilla could destroy Manhattan.
With his army of gorilla men.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, but yeah, dude. No, that was another good one, dude. And there's one I have lined up that I want to watch, and it's one of those ones, and I love these documentaries where it's all about a failed movie, and because like I watched the one about the Tim Burton Superman. That's one of my favorite ones. It's a great celebration of creativity and all these designs that unfortunately got wasted. They were fantastic. I watched the one about the Isle of Dr. Moreau with Val Kilmer. That one is absolutely fantastic. Electric Boogaloo, which is all about Canon films. That's another one that's fantastic. This one that I got lined up to watch is it's called Doomed. And it's all about the Roger Corman Fantastic Four film.
Oh, sweet!
And I cannot wait to watch it. I have that one ready to go right now. And that's what I've been watching lately. Is just a bunch of
comic book documentaries,
comic book and movie documentaries.
Yeah,
things that I'm interested.
No,
in.
I know about getting on kicks like that.
I watched one about H.R. Geiger. Giger. I can never figure out what school
I think it's Geiger.
Is it Geiger?
I think it's
because I hear Geiger and I hear Giger, and it was pretty cool, but it's also very masturbatory.
Yeah.
Or it's just like Giger is the greatest artist that has ever lived.
Yeah.
And everyone comes to his home to pay homage of how great he is.
It's like when we watched the Daft Punk one that we watched. There's just a lot of French guys talking about how great they were.
How awesome Daft Punk was. They were doing things that no one's ever heard of. They
were the best.
Yeah, they were plugging in and unplugging. They were plugging and unplugging their amps, and it sounded so fantastic.
It wasn't until they got up to Random Access Memories and they were talking about like Paul Williams and some of their more contemporary collaborators that you were like, all right, these people are talking legitimately about the process and this new album that they made, and that's interesting. But early days, it was like they were young and they were in a fucking country where the scene was hip.
Yeah.
And
it was back when they used to wear,
they're artists.
Didn't they
were motorcycle helmets.
They were motorcycle helmets, and before that, wasn't it pillowcases or something like that? Yeah.
And unfortunately, there was no interviews at the time, but it was later. So there were probably hangers on, people who haven't had contact with them in forever, but they were like, we were then there, and they were fucking artists. And I was like, yeah, they were fucking DJs. Like, relax.
Yeah. We knew them before they were cool.
They're cool dudes, and there's a cool thing there, especially with them sticking to their guns about like it's the music and not them. They don't want to be famous musicians, so you know, I could walk past them any day of the week and not know it's them. They didn't even take them off for their fucking best album Grammy acceptance. So
dude, they looked so cool,
and they were super sweet in their white tuxes. And their white helmets. They changed helmets during that.
Yeah. Well, didn't they show up in the gold gowns and everything?
They had, I think they had a couple costume changes. It was insane. So they're cool dudes, but there was so masturbatory in the beginning. Any French guy they talk to, bad.
Well, it's like there's one I want to watch right now that's out. It's about Warren Ellis, one of my favorite writers. I love Warren Ellis. But I watched the trailer for it first, and he's just like, some people think I'm the greatest writer that ever existed. And they're right. And I'm like,
oh no.
I know you're making a joke, but it does not. And that the whole trailer's like that. And I'm like, I don't want to watch this.
Don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Don't meet your heroes. They're dicks.
True. You see anything else? I'm going to take that as a no.
No, man. No.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we got a lot out. I'm not going to lie. So, like I said, we're going to be back to talk. We're going to have a jam-packed episode here soon enough. We always...
Hold up.
If you're going to say what I think you're going to say, I've already decided where this is going to come in.
Okay, we're going to do... Okay.
All right. Are you thinking of...
I'm thinking of a certain Netflix film.
Okay, so no. Because I have a feeling, Josh. I have a fucking feeling. So we're going to save it.
Well... I'll talk to you off. I'll talk to you off mic.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. And the funny thing is there's
Ignore this bit.
There's a ton of Netflix films that just came out, so people do not know. So what we could be talking about. So, no, I have a feeling, Mark. So we will be back. There's gonna be
inside jokes.
There's gonna be there's probably gonna be a 2-parter episode like there normally is of just jam packed movie discussion, followed by our top 5. But that classic catch-up, it's still being worked on. Holy shit, is it a long one? And holy shit, is it giving my computer the business with such a complicated edit at the moment? But it's still being worked on. That's coming out.
Work is getting done.
This work getting done. Anthem, remember that game? Nope. You can find us on all major podcasting apps, including Spotify, iTunes, Google, Stitcher, etc. Wherever your favorite podcast can be found. We are at Mighty Movie Pod on Twitter. We are twitch.tv/Mighty Fish Productions. Gameplay goes up there every now and again.
Yeah, put some stuff up there. We're gonna put more stuff.
Yeah, we play them games. Twitch.
Speaking of games, dude, did you want to talk about Fallen Order at some point?
Oh, I absolutely do.
I do as well.
So yeah, we're gonna do a spoiler discussion. Yeah, you reminded me. We have so much to talk about.
We do.
We're such a drought, and now we have fucking episodes worth of shit we're trying to get done. And that's why we're here again the very next week.
Hello.
We're gonna talk about Jedi Fallen Order. That'll be like a special maybe. And YouTube. That's where you can find the newest episode of Classic Catch Up that's coming out. Star Trek the Motion Picture. It's going to be all 6 original Star Trek films.
Not at once,
no.
But we're working on it.
But that's what we're working on. Intermittently, there'll be different episodes because, that's a lot of Star Trek. So we're YouTube. We're Mighty Fish Productions on YouTube. That's where all of our video content is at. I think that covers it, Josh.
I think you've done it, man.
Thank you so very much for listening. I have been your host, Ryan. I also have a co-host.
He's still Josh.
His name's Josh. Tell him, Josh.
I'm Josh.
And we will see you at another time. Goodbye. Hello. I mean, goodbye.